coming up on The Solo Show.
We did Rise of Resistance. We came off, and as soon as we came off, our lightning lane was ready to go. We went right back on again.
Yeah, love it, dude. Absolutely love it. That is the way to go. That's just luck, and that's happened to us on other things. And you balance it with, all right, do I take this one or that one? And the one we didn't end up with was Tower of Terror because it was gone by the time we. But with everything else I had, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I wrote it for you one time.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate that.
Stan welcomes Sam Marraccini from Sam's Disney Diaries on YouTube, and they're going to talk about the Festival of the Arts. As always, The Solo Show is brought to you by Victor Marracini Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Realtor Victor Marracini makes living near Walt Disney World a reality, specializing in all the communities surrounding Disney. Whether you're looking to relocate or invest in a new property, maybe you want a vacation home for your retirement. With over a decade of experience in the area, Victor will adapt to your needs, help you find the right property, or get you the best price for your property. Reach out to him today on his website, celebratingflorida.com, or at disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Follow him at Victor Marracini Realtor on Facebook, and don't forget to tell him that The Solo Show sent you.
I suggest a new strategy, R2.
Let's put on the show.
Broadcasting from the Solo Studios, cleverly hidden in a little woodcarver's shop somewhere in the Magic Kingdom. Here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the center of North America, on this little planet we call Earth, this is The Solo Show. On this adventure, Stan welcomes Sam Marraccini from Sam's Disney Diaries on YouTube, and you can check out the link to that in the show notes. They'll be talking about the Festival of the Arts. A good time will be had by all, so bring along your passport to fun and adventure. So now, please welcome your host, an artisan, a craftsman, and a skilled maker of toys. He's kind of like Geppetto, actually. Here's Stan Solo. Hang on a minute. If Stan is Geppetto, does that make me?
Hello and welcome to another edition of The Solo Show. I am Stan Solo as always, and joining me today is my good friend and yours, Mr. Sam. Oh my gosh, I should have talked to this beforehand.
It's fine. Sam from Sam's Disney Diary. It's absolutely fine. Stan, listen, I love you jumping into the microphone to get started. I love it. I hope that I inspired that a little bit, but welcome back to the show. Thanks for having me, my friend. It's been too long.
Well, Ken's introduction gets you pumped up before we start.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. So what is new in the Solo Show? What you been up to, my man?
Oh my gosh, we've been doing everything here. I don't. You know what? After the show's done and recorded, I forget about it until I have to remember.
Man, I wish that I had that ability, but I'm doing all of my own editing and producing and all that good stuff. So my focus has been YouTube, Sam's Disney Diary, YouTube. So much cool stuff out there. Go and check it out. Lots of Festival of Arts things, which are very timely, and we're going to talk more about that today. But so much happening at Walt Disney World in general, and it's just Disneyland or Disney in general. Disney 100 starts very soon at Disneyland, January 27th, which might be today. I'm not exactly sure, but wow.
Well, by the time
all that starts.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. This might be out there. So, and such. So I say this all the time, Stan. It's one of the reasons why I love doing in-park audio, because anytime you do in-park audio, you're really collecting a time capsule, right? It's a moment in time that's not going to be back. Like one of the first ones I did, and I'm so happy that I did it a long time ago. It was one of the last Star Wars weekends, and we didn't know it was the last Star Wars weekends, and we just walked around and described things that were happening. And I've done it we did it on the streets of America, over in Hollywood Studios, during the Osborne Lights. I mean, so many things just blow my mind. But this trip, January of 2023, walking into Epcot, just going into the new Mouse Gear, the Connections shop, or is that what it? Creation shop, right?
Creation, yeah.
Creation shop. First display, Walt Disney World 50th anniversary. Second display, Epcot 50th. And the third display, Walt or Disney Company 100th anniversary. That is 3 significant things happening at exactly the same time. Talk about a time capsule. And now what I wanted, Stan, was the Magic Band that had all 3 logos on it. So I could say I was there for the 50th, the 40th, and the 100th, but you could find them. But of course, they weren't on the same Magic Band. There was 3.
I was going to say you have to buy 3 Magic Bands to do that.
That's exactly right. You got to buy 3 Magic Bands to do that. But talk about a time capsule, January of 2023, all of that stuff happening at the same time.
And people are going to look back and they're going to look at Sam's Disney Diaries and like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and they're going to go, do you remember that Disney celebrated the 50th anniversary and all the stuff they did? And they're going to go, I didn't realize that the 100th was the same time, that they were doing it at the same time for a bit.
It all came together, and people at that point might be saying, wow, do you remember that Harmonious show? Remember those barges they had in the middle of that lake? Let's hope that's what they're saying.
People are going to say, I love
why did they get rid of it? I love them. Why'd they get rid of it?
That looked like a good show.
Yeah, right. That Enchanted show was so awesome. Why'd they bring back that Wishes? Or not Wishes. Yeah. I wish they brought back the Wishes. Why'd they bring back Happily Ever After? But
yeah,
that's amazing, isn't it, Stan, when you think about it that way?
Oh yeah, no kidding. So you're talking about, speaking about, hey, do you remember when? Do you remember when people used to stand in line for hours to get a Figment popcorn bucket?
That was just last year, believe it or not. That was just last year. People were standing in line for their Figment popcorn bucket, which blew up the internet. It blew up Walt Disney World. It created lines that were approaching 7 hours that stretched from the booth they were giving them all the way around World Showcase until they ran out of buckets. So Disney changed the way that they're doing that this year. And they changed it for the better, for sure, Stan. So I can say I am holding a Figment popcorn bucket in my hand as we speak. And you can see that. So
there he is.
So yes, they embraced some technology, specifically the mobile ordering capability, and leverage a system that they created this past summer over at Magic Kingdom for the Mr. Toad Wild Ride bucket. I don't know if you remember that or not, but for Mr. Toad, they expected the same kind of following. So for Mr. Toad, you had to walk back to Storybook Circus and then go into your mobile phone and order the bucket, and then you could go into Pete's Silly Slideshow. At that point, there were still no meet and greets, and you picked it up inside there. So they definitely embraced that Figment or embrace that technology, and it is now part of the Epcot International Festival of the Arts for 2023. How
about explaining to the people listening that they might not know, they want to get a popcorn bucket. They're going to be going there this February, and that's when their goal is to get up. How do they do it?
How are you going to do it? Here's how you're going to do it. It's going to be super easy. Now, I'll tell you how I did it on the first day. And let's step back a second. It's part of the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. They introduced some new things, including a new location at Epcot, which is the old Odyssey location, is now the Figment Inspiration Station at the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. They've incorporated a lot of Figment merchandise, some real pieces of attractions, some pieces from the old upstairs of the attraction have come back. Not the Rainbow Tunnel. I wish that was there, but the Rainbow Tunnel's not there. The Rainbow Tunnel is actually on the Disney Dream on that cruise ship. I don't know if you've ever been there, but
did they happen to have the ship? What was it? The Imagination?
They did not have an actual Dreamfinder Imagination ship, but they did have lots of videos playing on the walls coming from projectors that were, to some extent, if you're big on that attraction, if you remember the TVs that are in the attraction and they always had pictures of Figment kind of running, that video is playing on the walls inside of there. And by the way, they also updated the attraction to have really clear video on the TV that's upside down in there. I was really impressed last time I went through. I thought, damn, Figment got a little love. But anyway, you and I, of course, are way off track, and we got to circle back around to what we started talking about. The Figment Inspiration Station is in the Odyssey, and that is where the pickup location for your popcorn bucket is. Now, in order to get one, you're going to use the app, the My Disney Experience app, and mobile order the Epcot souvenir bucket. So
you go into mobile order. You don't go into Genie Plus or anything like that. You go into you can order a meal.
And that's one of the downsides of this app. there are different places you have to go to do things like a virtual queue, or do things like mobile order, or do things like Genie Plus. Those are 3 different things that you go to. They're not integrated together. So for this, you do go to the order, mobile food order, create new order, and you will see at Epcot the souvenir release bucket with a picture of Figment. Now, I did this at 6:45 a.m. before I got my virtual queue for Guardians.
Were you out of bed yet, or were you lying in bed with your phone?
No, I was in bed. I was absolutely in bed. I mean, I was rolled over to put my glasses on so I could see my phone, and then I wake up at 6:45 for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to make sure I could get my bucket and then get the virtual queue. But also my eyes have to adjust because the brightness of the phone and all that kind of stuff. You've been there. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Everyone's listening has been.
So you go right in the mobile order and you order it and pick your return time, and your bucket's waiting for you when you get there.
Oh, that's so easy.
It's that easy. You walk in and you show them your return window, and they're just going to escort you in. And there is a long line of there's not a long line. It is a line, but there are 4 cast members that are doing nothing but looking at your phone, see if you get 1 or 2, because you can only order 2, and they hand you the bucket, and away you go.
Perfect. Easy.
Now, here's one thing I do want to mention about the bucket. If you have one, push down on the nose and the back opens to get the popcorn.
That is so cool.
Don't pull the back open. That's what you expect it to do, but you push down on the nose and the back pops open.
I've never seen that before. I didn't know that.
That's one of the things, because you don't want to break it. That's the last thing you want to do for $25 popcorn bucket, especially if you buy 2 of them. And we'll get back to that in a minute, because there's at one point where you do all this stuff in the morning to get ready, virtual queues. And by the way, if you listen
while we're here, while it's first thing in the morning, what else did you do?
While it's 6:46, I had my popcorn buckets purchased by 6:47. So I'm and by the way, you don't have to be holding a park pass for Epcot to do this. You can do that regardless of the park pass you have, and you get to define your return time. So first thing in the morning, my return time was like 11 o'clock because the park opens at 10, but I could have set my return time to be 8 o'clock at night or 7 p.m. Which,
by the way, is probably a good tip to do it later, so you're not carrying around a popcorn bucket all day.
Unless you want to carry it around as a symbol, right? It's kind of like wearing your racing medal around. You could do that if you want. But as we're recording, Stan, and you and I just tested this, we're both sitting in the not in Florida, you're in Canada, and I'm in the northeastern United States. And right now, I see Epcot souvenir release, and I can pick it up now until an hour from now. So it's available right now. I can just go and get that. So
by the way, so Sam, you got up at 6 a.m. to order your. I wanted to test it the day that it was available, so I tested it here in Canada at 11 o'clock, which would have been 10 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, so
no, 10 o'clock noon. It would have been noon.
It would have been noon. Yeah, so lunchtime.
It would have been noon Eastern, and it was available at noon. And I tried again at 3, which would have been at 4. And it was still available. I tried again at 5, and it was not available.
Of popcorn buckets. There are no supply chain issues this year. There's no line around everywhere, and I think we have a new normal now for acquiring that whatever thing that everybody's going to want, because the last thing Disney wants are pictures on social media of 6-hour-long lines. This is exactly why after I purchased the popcorn bucket, I jumped over to the virtual queue section of the app and went to Guardians, and it's 6:58. I'm scrolling up and down, waiting for 7 o'clock to click so that I can go ahead and join a virtual queue, which tells me you're boarding group 70. Come back in 500 hours or 500 minutes and we'll be ready. 500 minutes and we'll be ready. Which I'm good with. So that's at 7:01 a.m. I'm holding 2 popcorn buckets and a virtual queue. And to push my luck, I went ahead and acquired Genie Plus. Now, this I will give everybody, you probably have. You can do this starting midnight the day before. You can buy Genie Plus. And Genie Plus, of course, gives you access to the Lightning Lane, which I have no idea why one's called Genie and one's called Lightning Lane. Why didn't they call these the same thing, Stan?
I know. I was when I was there, I was mixing them both up all the time.
It confuses the hell out of everybody. You buy Genie Plus to access the Lightning Lane. But that's not accessing the individual Lightning Lane, which is paying on top of that. So anyway, I was able to, at 7 o'clock, join the Lightning Lane via purchasing Disney Plus for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. So I went back to sleep at 7:05, holding 2 popcorn buckets, a return time estimated at 12:30 for Guardians, and an estimated return at 1 for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Okay,
not bad.
No. Okay, so the 2 popcorn buckets, that's $50. How many Genie Pluses did you purchase?
4 Genie Pluses, and they were 18 that day, the Friday, which by the way went to 20 on the Saturday. So yes, 18 times 4 plus 50. And I never even got out of bed, and I was able to spend
out of bed, and you already gave Disney $100
over $100. And that, I it's not something that I would do every day. Yeah. It's been a little while since I was there with the family. We wanted to do as much as we could in a 3-day weekend. We flew down Thursday night. We were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, flew back Monday. So knowing that was the case, to me, it was worth that couple of extra dollars to get in as many things as we can. And I learned some other things along the way, Stan, which is, I'm sure you've shared this before, you get that first one at 7:00 in the morning. Make sure it's the headliner. It's the one that's going to be gone. Yeah. Get it. That's Remy at, if you don't have Guardians virtual queue, it's Remy. Grab that. If you're going to Studios, you grab Slink Dog. If you're going to Animal Kingdom, you grab Pandora. If you're going to Magic Kingdom, you grab Seven Dwarfs. Those are the ones that are going to be gone. You got to get them at 7 a.m. Then after the park opens, every 2 hours for the entire day, you can get another one. And you can start.
So what I did when I was there I set a timer on my phone to remind me that 2 hours was up.
Great idea. Awesome idea. I should have done that.
Otherwise, I'll forget. It would be 3 hours, and I'll be, oh my gosh, I forgot. So that was a tip that I had, was set a timer on your phone immediately. Yeah. Did you do that, or did you just remember?
I did not. I remembered, but I'll be honest. Sometimes it was 2 hours and 15 minutes later. Sometimes it was right, and that throws you off. But here's what else I discovered, and this was a different day that we went down. Epcot Festival of Arts. We'll talk about that in a second. And the goal was to go in the morning, the Festival of Arts, and then we're going to park hop over to Hollywood Studios. That was our plan, just because I wanted to walk around with Showcase and check out the artists. The coolest part of Festival of Art is talking to the people that are drawing, that did this stuff, and getting autographs and just talking to them about their inspiration and what their backgrounds are. And by the way, these guys love to tell those stories. I don't think they get tired.
Absolutely, I agree completely. That's of all the festivals, hands down, Festival of the Arts is my favorite,
and that's one of the reasons, right? One of many reasons, and we'll talk to the others. But what I realized was, I got up. I had my park pass for Epcot. I got. I could have bought another bucket if I wanted to, but I got my virtual queue for Guardians because it's an awesome ride and I want to ride it again.
Or you could have bought stand up bucket if you wanted to.
I guess I could have, but shipping to Canada would kill me.
I know.
It'd have to just sit there somewhere. So then what I did, and you'll like this one, I'm holding a park pass for Epcot. I purchased Genie Plus, and I got my lightning lane for Slink Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios for 2:00 in the afternoon, which is after park hopping. So I came to the realization that, hey, you're buying Genie Plus for Walt Disney World, not for an individual park. And you have the ability to get these lightning lanes for parks that you're not in. So Stan, I was doing that every 2 hours getting one. I'm at Epcot, and at 10:00, I added the Rock and Roller Coaster. At 12:00, I added Toy Story Mania. At 2:00, when I'm park hopping, I'm adding Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I'm walking in the studios holding Rock and Roller Coaster, Toy Story Mania, Slink Dog Dash, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
That is so cool.
That's huge. And I got more that I could get.
I'm assuming that's only it only works if you have park hoppers, though. If you don't have a park hopper,
if you don't have a hot park hopper, it won't work. I don't know if it would it might let you do it. I don't know if they're smart enough to know what ticket that you have.
No, I don't think it would let you.
I am an annual pass. Let's full disclosure. I'm an annual pass holder. So I had my annual pass and I did it. And it was because we're limited in time. I'm going to spend the money. Oh, and by the way, we got all those things done. I could have gotten a lightning lane for Smuggler's Run. Did not. We didn't ride that. I could have gotten it for Muppet Vision. Didn't need it. I did get it for Star Tours because that was a decent ride. And we did not have time to ride Rise of Resistance, is what it is. But we did watch Fantasmic, the second show, which was empty. Just like before, the old Fantasmic, right? Watch the second show. There's nobody in there. Great show.
Yeah. So I did when I went, I got to ride Rise twice.
Nice. Did you wait? Because you have, that's the one you have to purchase. That's an individual.
Yeah. So I purchased it. separately for early in the morning, and we rope dropped Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railroad. Nice. And then we just decided to head over to Galaxy's Edge, and Rise of Resistance was down.
Oh, you got lucky when they opened it.
And I got there right when they opened, and I said, "Is it working?" And he goes, "Just reopened. It's walk on." The guy told me. See ya.
You always walk on that.
So we walked. Yeah. So we wrote. We did Rise of Resistance. We came off, and as soon as we came off, our lightning lane was ready to go. We were right back on again.
Yeah, love it, dude. Absolutely love it. That is the way to go. That's just luck, and that's happened to us on other things. And the only thing, and you gotta use it, Genie. You gotta kind of balance it with, all right, do I take this one or that one? And the one we didn't end up with was Tower of Terror because it was gone by the time we. But with everything else I had, it is what it.
Yeah. So I wrote it for you one time.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate that. I do.
I wrote it.
Twice. Did you make it back? Was yeah, that's good.
I got a cool photo I could send you.
Was it Wreck was okay? You found him at the end, Admiral?
Yeah. You know what? Every time I ride that Carmelian pilot.
Yes.
Yeah. He's horrible. He gets captured every time I ride with him. Every single time we go out on a mission, he ends up he gets caught in a tractor beam or something.
Yeah. Something comes up. That's the best. All right, but we were saying, look, we're 20 minutes in and we haven't talked about the Festival of Arts yet, so we got to get back to the Epcot International Festival of the Arts.
So let's start off with the most important part. I mean, yes, sure, the art is important, and everybody likes to talk to the artists and all that. But let's get into the food.
Oh,
what did you have?
Food, yes. There was quite a bit of food at the Festival of the Arts. In fact, that Figment's Inspiration Station that I talked about is new to the festival, and it has a pretty interesting menu that is all colorful, right? I would also say outside of the couple of rainbow beer flights, it was it's kids type stuff. So you'll see that there in a second. So they had a couple of flights of beer and flights of cider, which are colorful. And I think you saw a picture, Stan, and you said it looks like paint cans.
It looks like you're drinking paint. The beer flights, they look like water-based paint.
It kind of does. So the cider flight, they're all from Three Daughters in St. Petersburg, Florida. A black cherry, a blood orange, and a passion fruit. So that kind of tells you where the colors are, right? From the black cherry to the blood orange to the passion fruit. They were good. They were good. On the beer side, it was a green with envy blonde L, which to me, I think they're just ready for St. Patrick's Day a little bit early.
It's green beer.
It's the green beer.
Yeah. That's a way to describe it, St. Patrick's Day.
The green with envy blonde L. So it's the St. Patrick's Day green beer. Then a blueberry lager, which had a bluish darker tint to it, and a raspberry and blackberry Midwest fruit tart, which was from Urban Artifacts in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm not a big on the tart beers. The tart beers don't do much for me, but they were colorful and they look good.
So you kind of have the primary color. So did you try mixing them? See if you can get a purple or a pink?
I did not. That's probably a good idea, though. But
what they should do with that is they should give you an empty cup. I mean, it would probably taste horrible mixing blueberry and passion fruit.
But hold on a second. We're going to get there in a second. But over at Galaxy's Edge, they have this blue milk and this green milk, and they taste better when you mix them together.
They do taste better when you mix them together.
Yes,
you're right.
They do. They're better together. I think that's the way to go. And they won't give you an extra cup, but I've tried.
Yeah.
So that's the drinks in there. They also have some food as well. There is a watermelon pizza, which is a slice of watermelon with some blueberries and some white chocolate that looks like Parmesan cheese on the top, and a blackberry reduction that serves as the sauce, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but you know what? The kids will probably like it. It's like fruit salad sitting on a piece of watermelon. They had the Figment Grape Shake, which is a Figment slushy. Speaking of the green and blue milk, this was sort of the purple version of that. Was pretty good. And a rainbow cake that had the best orange cream between the layers. It was so good.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle an orange cream between the layers. I don't like artificial orange at all.
It was good. It was good.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Tell us about the toppings.
The toppings, yes. Yeah. So the top of these were something, Stan, that I did not know that I needed until I tasted these. These are freeze-dried Skittles, and they are sprinkled on top of both the shake and on top of the rainbow. So take a Skittle, You're familiar with a Skittle, right? And I'm not a huge fan of Skittles because they're chewy and they kind of get in your teeth, right? But apparently when you freeze dry them, they pop like popcorn and they're crunchy. So now you're throwing it in your mouth and it's this big crunch and a burst of the Skittles flavor, and it was really good. And I'm like, wow.
So how cold does it have to be to freeze dries it?
I don't know.
Is what I'm wondering.
Guessing, Stan, it gets that cold in Canada.
Well, we get down to minus 40 sometimes. It's supposed to go down to minus 30.
It can't be more than minus. It can't be that.
I'm gonna take some Skittles, put them in a pot, and put them out on the front step, and see what happens to them next time it goes down to minus 40 here.
You absolutely should do that.
Yeah, I'm totally doing that. That's my. While I'm at it, I might as well grab some M&Ms and stuff too, and put them in there.
See what happens to an M&M when you freeze it. Yeah, that's
sounds
great.
Like this crab. There was a crab.
There were also in the quote unquote new. There's also a popped art at the Figment thing I should mention, which is like a Pop-Tart. It's a sugar cookie with blueberry filling, which looks like a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, does it taste like a Pop-Tart, or you didn't?
It did, and it didn't strike me as, oh my god, this is good. It struck me as it's a Pop-Tart, right? So it's a Pop-Tart. It is what it is. It's okay. The other one is the crab up near Test Track is another new food studio, and it is called Modern, like modern, MODERNE. And what they have is something called the Angry Crab, which is a whole crispy, soft-shelled crab with green paprika salad, a mango sriracha fluid gel, coconut lime foam, and pomegranate and mango crust pearls. Yeah.
It looks like a face hugger from Alien. That's what it looks like.
It's a deep-fried, soft-shelled crab, and yes, it does have that resemblance. I will give you that.
They should be selling this at Galaxy's Edge.
You know what? They should be. They could call that thing anything at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
So now the other interesting thing that they had there was this compressed watermelon kaki. It's a pickled watermelon rind with pearl watermelon foam and some wasabi, and it looks like sushi, but it's really watermelon. Interesting. Mm-hmm. I did not have it. It scared me just a tiny little bit. And also something called the dessert. So there's always a dessert somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Every booth. Right? There's 14 booths around World Showcase. It's the same booths. Look, it's the holiday booths, or it's the Festival of Arts, the food studios, they call them, versus the holiday kitchens. And then there's soon going to be the food or the Flower and Garden Festival booths, and then they're going to be
food and wine.
Know what's going on there, and it's fine. And food and wine, no problem. This is it's mousse, it's guava cake, it's coconut, it's compressed pineapple, it's mango gel. It's a pretty good looking dessert. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, what's that called again?
That is the Tropics.
Tropics dessert. Okay.
The Tropics. That's just what it's called, the Tropics, and it's at Modern. There's also, of course, the deconstructed dishes there again. That's always a popular one. They have the deconstructed BLT, the pork belly and soft poached egg and onion bread pudding. Interesting. Pop Eats was always a favorite. That's the one that's got some tomato soup and grilled cheese kind of stuff. A take on those things. Deco Delights, and all these are like they had been in the past.
Yeah, these are starting to become staples almost. Like they're at every
some of them
festival.
are. Some of them are. Yeah. Now we do have
DLT has been for quite some time now.
Yeah, absolutely. Near Canada, we have the gnocchi poutine.
Gnocchi
poutine, red wine, braised beef, cheese curds, basil, and some other things. But it says it is gnocchi poutine.
Okay, so it's on. So instead of being on fries, it's on the gnocchi pasta.
Yeah. Another wrong with that. And the roasted bone marrows over in Canada again too, at the Gourmet Landscapes. I don't know if you remember that from years past.
I was too afraid to try that one.
The wild mushroom risotto in Canada. Absolutely.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite. That wild mushroom risotto. They have it at every festival, and that is so good.
Yeah, they have
we were talking a bit now. Not only do they have food, they also have entertainment.
See, dude, I'm just ready to dig through all this food, and
I know.
Entertainment's a big part of this.
We can do a whole hour just on the food.
Of course, there's festival merchandise. You know that Figment is all over all of the merchandise. You'll find it in that Figment Inspiration Station. There is entertainment. We'll get there in a minute. Chalk art is there as well, which is big. These guys are good that are doing this chalk art. And in fact,
the chalk art is always a highlight at the Festival of the Arts.
I absolutely agree with that. The chalk art is a highlight. They are awesome at what they do. And these people are out there all day. They really are out there drawing, out there doing their thing with chalk art. There's also some kids chalk art nearby. We also have the mural where you can get and paints on the construction wall, right?
Yep.
Curiously enough, because the construction walls are still there. Let's be honest. You walk in the front, the entrance looks awesome. It's amazing. Then you go around construction walls. You're probably going to Guardians of the Galaxy because you have your virtual queue. And when you come back around, you are going to find the line to get your paintbrush so that you can participate in the paint by numbers. And
so for people that don't know, let's explain how this works. So it's a construction wall, and they have like little cubicles set up.
Yeah.
And people, they give you a little paintbrush, and they give you a little paint color, and there's a number on the
That's
paint.
exactly it. They give you a brush, they give you a color, and then what you are doing is looking at the number on the color. You get in line at the construction wall where you can then get up to this big white thing that it looked when it started, and you start to paint on it, and it becomes one of 4 different. I mean, these things are big, right? They're got to be hundreds of feet long.
Yeah, they're probably about 8 feet tall.
Yeah. People can reach the top, so no longer than you can reach the top, and it goes down to the bottom. There are 4 different ones.
Probably about 20 feet long, I would think, each one. Maybe more. 50.
They're pretty far. I don't know. Maybe there's 8 feet between some of these construction walls, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty long. I'll also say that they have 4 of them, which just goes to show you how much construction wall they have to cover.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because
so basically, you go once you get your paint, you paint the little squares are all numbered. You paint your number.
You paint your numbers.
And at the end of a week, I guess.
So the thing's only 4 weeks long, and there's 4 of them. So I expect every week they're recycling one of these. Now, when you painted it, you painted like 6 squares the same color. There were 6 of them together. So I think that helped them do it faster than one person at a time, and help them get through that stuff. We also have for the kids Figment's Brush with the Masters, which is the scavenger hunt, which is back this year. So Figment's Scavenger Hunt, you'll find different pieces of artwork all around World Showcase. That artwork is all part of the scenery, but kids will notice it and put their sticker down. And when they're done, the completer prize is a small Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, or Figment sort of figurine that you can paint. It comes with paint and a paintbrush. So little piece of the festival to take home.
Those are pretty cool prizes this year, because I know in the past they've had like coasters or something like that. Like they weren't
or maybe it's a cup. But this is cool because you got one of them's Figment, and it comes with purple and the colors that you would need with Figment, and Mickey Mouse comes with the red and the black and the white that you would need for Mickey.
Yeah, so when you get home, cool. You can paint the figurine.
Yeah, paint the figurine when you get home. That's exactly what it's all about. So that's kind of cool from the Inspiration Station. There's also one of the playgrounds around the corner there for kids. So there's some things for kids to be able to do. Oh, in addition, we also have the drawing class back at the American Gardens Theater during the day.
Okay.
The Animation Academy.
Is that an upcharge, or is that included?
No, that is Animation Academy. So, Stan, it basically is what used to be over at the Animation Courtyard in Hollywood Studios. Same thing. You're doing it in the American Gardens Theater. I think they do it 3 times during the day. You're going to walk in. They're going to hand you looks like the same thing they used to give you at Hollywood Studios. It's a little, drawing pad and a piece of paper, and the artist is up on the stage, and they're showing you on the overhead what he's drawing, and you get the drawing. No upcharge, but that's part of the festival and something for kids that they would like.
Yeah, because they used to do the one where they had it was like a celebrity artist doing a class.
Yeah, so no celebrity. No celebrity. This is just a
cast member.
I don't know if it's a cast member, an Imagineer, much like what they used to do.
Yeah. Right? Well, I think they still do it at Animal Kingdom too.
They do it at Animal Kingdom back at Rafiki's Planet Watch. Yes, they do animals back there. And this was usually, it was, of course, Figment is one of them. I saw a Mickey and I saw a couple. But they do that back there through the day because in the evening, that American's Garden Theater transitions into the Disney on Broadway concert series, which is the daily happening. Festival of Arts, we should have mentioned. I think this is the 7th year for Festival of the Arts.
Isn't it really that long? Wow.
7 years. And when it started, that whole Disney on Broadway was only a couple of times it was only the weekends. And now they have expanded that, so it's more than just the weekends. That concert series, when I was there, which, by the way, is on Sam's Disney Diary YouTube channel, it was Carrie Lindsay and Kevin Macy. Kara is from Newsies, and Kevin is from Tarzan on Broadway. And believe it or not, they are husband and wife, which was interesting.
I think that's the couple I saw when I went.
Could be. It seems like they get these
2019.
Back. There you go.
It was a husband and wife team when I went.
Probably is then. And then they were going back and forth every other day with the Jacobs, Adam Jacobs and Ariel Jacobs, who are brother and sister and both in Aladdin. So that's kind of cool. There's a difference.
That's what I saw. That was what I saw. His brother and sister I saw for Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah. I remember thinking that's kind of creepy that it's brother and sister thing.
That's cool.
Aladdin and Jasmine.
Cool. It's fine. It is what it is. And you know what, by the way, they go every other day for a week. And then it's another group that comes in and goes every other day. And they always finish it. So on February 20th, circle it, because that's the only day that they will have 4 different performers all on stage at the same time.
I did not know that. Okay.
And they've done that before. This year for that last one, it's Ashley Brown, who was Mary Poppins. It's Michael James Scott, who was in Aladdin, the genie. I don't know if you've seen any Aladdin theatrical. The genie always just is amazing. So this guy's awesome. Kissy Simmons, who's from The Lion King, and Josh Strickland, who was Tarzan for a while. So those are the guys that wrap it up. And that's just part of the entertainment, because the festival stage, which is, here's how I say it. My old school Disney pops out, right? Old school Epcot. It's between the Duffy store and the store on the left. I forget. But when you first come into World Showcase, there are 2 stores. Yeah. Between those stores is where the Festival of the Arts stage is. And that's the stage where they have acts come and go pretty much all day, including art in performance, which when I was there, it was Trevor Carlton. And this is the where you start with a blank canvas and basically go 15 minutes from a blank canvas to a Disney character while he's playing art and doing things like that. So in this particular case, the video I have on YouTube, he went from a blank canvas to Donald Duck, and I got a second performance, which was Mickey. So
that sounds pretty cool. Impressive. So you have the whole video 15 minutes long.
I got the whole video 12 to 15 minutes, and it's the whole thing. And
you got to check that out.
He plays music in the background, which flags every violation that YouTube has, by the way, because he plays modern music. But you know what? I don't care. It's still there. It's because I think it's cool to watch, and I love watching it. If you put it on double speed, it's even cooler to watch him go through all this stuff and make. The stage also has a whole bunch of entertainment that's not necessarily art related, but so Festival of the Arts, it's culinary arts. We talked about the Feud Studio. It's artists like the drawers and the painters and those things. It's also performance art. So that's where Disney on Broadway comes in, and it's where things like Don Black, who's a saxophone artist who plays the saxophone, and any of these artists are just amazing at what they do. There's also some others like Nicholas Marks, who is a guitar player. And by the way, when you come by this stage, you're going to see the map of who's on when, or the schedule, and it's also in My Disney Experience. I think a lot of people don't realize this, but when you go into the My Disney Experience app and you hit the little pin on the bottom that shows you where you are, it takes you by default to wait times. If you switch to entertainment, it will show you the entertainment schedule for what's coming up in these different locations.
That's a really good tip.
And by the way, this changes. So it was Don Black and Nicholas Marks and Trevor Carlton when I was there. A weekend later, it could be completely different people, but it will definitely be somebody that just is awesome and amazing and outstanding. And I think I mentioned before that I really like talking to the artists.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, I got some just awesome examples of talking to some artists that are working on things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this Darth Vader that this guy is painting because this is amazing. And throughout the conference, it was one of those where he was drawing the reflection in the eyes of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the battle from A New Hope. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing is awesome. I want this. And it's just so cool to be able to sit back and just talk to the guys about it. Like, how
so do you record that? Like, can I go to Sam's Disney Diaries and see you talking to some of these artists?
Some of them, I haven't edited the video yet, but I will have some of that. But it's definitely some audio that I need to pull together and just have, because when you talk to these guys, I mean, this particular guy's drawing Darth Vader, and he's talking about, he's been doing Star Wars for 17 years, drawing Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I thought of was, boy, you have a little more content that you can draw on here lately, don't you? And he's like, there's never been a better time in my life, because for the first 10 years, I had 6 movies to pull from, and that was it. But now I got this whole galaxy of stuff that I could do. Dude, full size stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even want to see how much some of this stuff was. I just kept walking. Another interesting touch that they have at the Festival of Arts, all of the character greetings around World Showcase, whether it's Alice in Wonderland or Donald Duck, or maybe it's Belle, they all have a portrait. Yeah, Mary Poppins. There's always a portrait behind them. Like, they're part of the art festival, so they drew a portrait, and that's kind of cool. So
that's a cool touch.
It's a little touch that nobody sees unless you're really there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Mary Poppins did it as well. Artwork all over the place, stuff that I absolutely love. Again, the chalk artists are just fun to talk to, and they love what they do. And I didn't realize this, and this will be a video that I am going to do on Sam's Disney Diary. When they do the chalk art, they actually take the chalk and like make a canvas for themselves before they draw. So they'll take whites or black and smooth out the concrete with chalk and rub it in, and then they draw on top of that. That's how they get the textures.
As opposed to just drawing right on the concrete.
As opposed to just drawing on the concrete.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they do. Okay. And they do it in a really, really interesting way.
Cool. Now, how about in the German pavilion? You were talking before we went on air.
So 2 other things I want to talk about. And an example of finding some entertainment. And they did this prior years for the Festival of the Arts, not during the pandemic, but before. There were new acts in some of the countries specific to the Festival of Arts. And specific this year, it is Germany and Canada. So in Germany, Julia Skagar, however you say it in German, is there you go. You got it. She is, and I thought, I'm going to record it. I'm here, and this is going to be on Sam's Disney Diary. And I did a little research while I was waiting there, and she has toured Germany. She has multiple solo albums, but more importantly, or more interestingly, in 2017, she became the singing voice for the German version of Disney's live action Beauty and the Beast. So she was the German singing voice for Naomi Watson. I mean, that's just, wow. That's pretty cool. Wow. Then on top of that, in 2019, she did the same thing for Aladdin, live action Aladdin. She's the singing voice. And in the German pavilion now, you have the ability to hear her sing a song in German from Aladdin. Who knew?
That's cool. And the German pavilion stage is just a tiny little stage.
It's a tiny little stage. There's not a lot going on there. And it was windy and it was chilly when I was there. And they did a great job. And it's her and her band. And you could do some homework and research on them. And it was like, wow, these guys are amazing. And she's got to, come on, she's a Disney princess times 2. Now, granted, it's in German and it's a dub, but that's really, really cool if you ask me. And similarly, in Canada, it was Rafi. Now, she's not a singing voice of any Disney princess, but, real act. Music videos, sings in French, sings in English, and they sounded great. And there's a whole big go to rafi.ca for the Canadian website of everything that she's doing. It was an awesome touch to the Festival of the Arts, and it's not something that they advertised anywhere, which I thought was wow.
That's cool. That is cool. I've never heard of her, but I'm sure she's very good.
But like you said, that's because she's French Canadian.
Yeah. I don't get.
But it was cool.
Too many French channels.
And that you're going to spend your whole day. And by the way, I do have, and they still have the photo ops all over. In fact, Photo Pass, they added some really cool touches to like the tiny world that you get up front, where when they take the picture, there's some Festival of the Arts logos that are around you and things like that. So they've done a great job with that. There's a couple of Figment specific photo opportunities while you're leaving, the magic shots. So if you point up, he's got his magic wand. Couple of other little touches in the festival book, little book that you get everywhere.
Yep.
The bottom corner of it features a whole bunch of pictures of Figment. And it doesn't take long to figure out that it's a flip book that will give you Figment getting ready, and he goes from black and white to being in full color and back.
Oh, that's cool. That's
cool.
Nice. I don't think they've had that in past years.
I don't think they've done it either, and it doesn't take long to figure it out. But it's just side by side, Figment slowly gets colorized, which is kind of.
You gotta love the flip books.
Flip book. Although it's a little hard to do because they put these books together. The center kind of has that. The center of it's the thicker cardboard and the full color, so it doesn't flip all that well. But it's really neat to watch. And by the way, that's part of the festival. I have to end with what I think is the coolest part. Although I'm sure there's things I missed.
Well, did you buy any art when you're there? You got to buy art when you go.
I did buy a piece of art. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it. But the Acme archive is hard for me to get in and out of without buying some artwork.
Yeah.
Acme had 3 booths this year, dude.
Wow.
One was all Star Wars, one was all Marvel, and the other one was like Indiana Jones and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Lots of artwork. They still call it, and this is when you leave, the Beacon of Magic. Actually, here's my checklist. Did we talk about anything? The Expiration Station, paint by number mural wall. Yep. Animation Academy. Yep. Chalk art. Yep. Kids chalk art is right next to the regular chalk art. Chock full of character that has to do with the different characters that are there. Abu, Jiminy Cricket. Lots of interesting people hanging around World Showcase. That's cool. Figment's brush with the masters, the photo ops all around, drawing on inspiration, celebrating Epcot. There's also I won't call it a scavenger hunt, but they call it colorful cuisine, where if you get your stamps at 4 locations, you get a free completer thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah. They do that.
Yeah, one of those things.
Every festival. Yeah.
But leaving,
it's usually something that's like they theme it so it'd be like the 4 sweetest things they could think of.
Yes.
Then you get something.
Well, in this case, it's the most colorful things that they have.
Yeah.
So lots of color. If you
so after you eat all that artificial food coloring.
Yes, exactly.
They give you more artificial food coloring to eat.
Right, exactly. The last thing it lists, starting at sunset, celebrate everybody's favorite royal blue dragon Figment in a technology tribute featuring music that is bound to spark your imagination, along with a spectacle of dazzling light. Then it says available most nights. What this is referring to is the Beacon of Magic. So we know that for the 50th anniversary, they introduced the Beacon of Magic in all of the parks. And Epcot, what they did is added the LED lights to Spaceship Earth. Absolutely amazing, beautiful. And for the Festival of Arts last year, it was the first time they introduced a special nighttime closing. If you remember, it was Rainbow Connection. I'm sure you remember.
I was going to say it was Rainbow Connection last year.
It was Rainbow Connection last year, which, by the way, they did an encore performance of Rainbow Connection, so it's in there. This year for Festival of Arts, they added original ride audio from Journey into Imagination. So it's Figment, it's Dreamfinder, it's Dreamfinder's voice inside of Epcot, probably the first time since 1999. Absolutely amazing. Love it. I watch it all the time. Now, I will give you guys an inside tip. Those special projections happen 3 times an hour, okay? 10 after the hour, half past the hour, and 10 till the hour. 20 minutes apart, okay? 10, 30, and 40. I'm sorry, 10, 30, and 50. That's when they happen. It's not published anywhere. It's not advertised anywhere. And the last time it happens is at 8:50, which is before Harmonious, or very soon Epcot Forever. That's a whole other conversation we could have. It doesn't happen after the park closes. So it's one of those things that if you wait until after the park closes, when you leave, it doesn't play. It's just a loop of exit music after the fireworks.
Okay, that's why I didn't get a chance to see it then. Okay,
so you need to take time out to say, I'm going to go up there at 10 after or half past or 10 till.
Yeah. Awesome.
I did it. And I'll tell you what I did with my son. We did it at 10 till 9. So the park closes in 10 minutes. It lasts about 6 minutes. So what are you going to do with 4 minutes left to go? You're not really interested in Harmonious because you've seen it, you've done it, and you're waiting for Epcot forever. Spaceship Earth, baby. I'm walking right on.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so there's no line for Spaceship Earth at 10 until the park closes. Trust me. So you just walk right on it.
In the description notes, did I hear you said it was royal blue figment?
I'm sorry.
The purple figment?
Let me do it. No. Starting at sunset, celebrate everybody's favorite royal purple dragon figment.
Oh, okay. Royal purple dragon. Okay.
I said blue, I was wrong.
Okay.
I was reading as opposed
when did that happen?
Okay. No.
All right.
Although, do you know what color was the original figment? Do you know? Purple? When the Imagineers first saw Figment, what color was he? That's a good trivia question, Stan.
That's a really good trivia question.
That. When the Imagineers,
anyone who knows, let me know. Anyone that's listening to this,
it was never
write
public,
me,
but
let me know.
And there's a reason why he ended up being purple.
Okay.
I'll tell you after you close.
What was the original color, and why did they change it? That's your trivia question for today.
The trivia question.
Good one. Or you can go to Sam's Disney Diaries and put it in his video, in his Figment video.
Yeah, when it's up, it is up
in there.
That's
too.
cool. Thank you, Stan. Thanks for the time, dude. I love being able to come back and talk to somebody about this stuff. It's great.
It's been a while since you've been on.
Show. Yes, we should make this an every 6-month thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good idea for sure.
What's coming up? We got Disney 100. I did not get a chance to ride Splash, dude, and I don't know. And I'll tell you why. It was too cold. I was there when it was cold in Florida. And look, I know you're Canadian. I'm in Pennsylvania, so it does get cold here. Not as cold as you, but I mean, we'll get freezing. There's snow on the ground outside right now.
Yeah, it's been snowing for 3 days straight here.
Yeah, well, it's been so one day here, but I understand. But 50 degrees in Florida just feels colder than 50 degrees does here.
Yeah.
If it dips down into the upper 40s at World Showcase, I am cold. If it dips down into the upper 40s, if it gets up to the upper 40s in Western Pennsylvania, and I need to take the garbage out, I'm going out in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm taking the garbage out because it's almost 50.
I have a bit of a confession to make.
Okay.
I haven't told this to anybody yet.
Oh.
But I'll tell you and our listeners right now. Okay. So this I said, I've only ridden Splash once in my entire life.
Okay.
And I don't like the drop. The drop freaks me out. I wasn't happy with it. And that was like my second trip ever that I did it.
Okay.
I am kind of kicking myself now that I didn't ride it when I was there last month.
Got it.
I am really kind of kicking myself that I didn't do it one more time.
I didn't ride because it was too cold.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. It was cold and I did not want to get wet. My last experience in November timeframe, so I have ridden it recently, I got too wet. And I just don't like to be wet, especially if it's cold in the park and the sun's not shining.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother thing, dude. What do you think of the change and what they're going to do? And Disney's got some big plans, man.
I have no coins in the pot because I don't ride it anyways. They're not going to change the drop. The drop's going to still be there.
Drop's going to change.
But here's what I'm excited for it.
I'm excited too.
It's time for a change.
To see it. Look, everybody says, "Oh, there's no mountains in Louisiana." Yes, there's no mountains, but the Imagineers will tell you there are hills, and those hills are salt mines. And what if Tiana needed to get a secret ingredient for her jambalaya in the salt mines? She would need to go into the salt mine, and she would find out that there's a party happening. That's sort of the storyline here.
There's no mountains in Winnipeg where I live. There's no mountains, but we still do downhill skiing. We still do tobogganing because there's hills.
Yeah.
And these hills and they're still bigger than the Splash Mountain.
You're kind of you're on the edge of the Canadian Rockies, but you got to go quite a bit further. You're in the middle. I'm
nowhere near the Canadian Rockies. I'm the prairies. The entire prairies are between. I'm kind of near the Canadian Shield and the prairies, right in that border.
Okay, so there's a long way to go before you hit those.
Yeah, you got the whole prairies. You got
to get all the way over to Dakotas and stuff like that. Got it. But here's what'll be interesting because you mentioned the hill. That's the part that freaks you out. Remember, Disney's awesome at forced perspective, right? So the forced perspective for Splash Mountain right now is huge, briars at the bottom to make the bottom look big and make the top of that hill look as small as you can. So it looks like it's super tall. But the reality is it's like 48 feet. Okay. That's how tall it is. But they make it look as big as they can. So now for this Tiana attraction, they need to do the opposite. So they're going to take out all of the briar patch. They're going to put in this huge looking water tower, which is going to have the opposite of force perspective, and they're going to try to make that hill look smaller than it is. They're going to try to make it
I'm
look
still going down a hill though.
But that's my point. It's the exact same 45 or 48 foot drop, but the Imagineers are going to try to change it. Now, I got a different question for you. You don't care about Splash Mountain. What's your take on Pecos Bills?
I would love to see that switch to a Tiana's restaurant.
It's going to happen, dude.
Yeah, I would love.
I don't have an official word, but knock on wood, Tiana's place is going to end up there. That's going to be just like Disneyland. They announced that it's coming in, it's going. That's going to happen at Disney World. You're going to get Tiana's place from the movie, from whatever, and the storyline is she's getting the ingredients so she can go make the stuff that you can get over there across the way. So I think Pecos Bills is going to be a casualty of the Tiana theming.
Oh, it'd be so good. You go there, get jambalaya and beignets. Are you kidding me?
And that's exactly what it'll be. Yeah, that's exactly what it'll be.
Mint was it mint julep, whatever that they have at Disneyland?
Mint juleps, mint julep.
Yeah, get that there. Oh,
yeah. Well, and look, Pecos Bills hasn't been the same for me in a long time.
Yeah,
right. Since they removed that self-service topping bar for the burgers, which they have a version of it now, but not what it used to be. That was awesome. Yeah. That was the best. Now I think the best burger is over at Cosmic Rays.
Yeah. What's great about Pecos Bills is you can get a seat. You can always get a seat there, no matter how busy their park is. You can get a seat.
That's right.
That's the
all right, Stan. We're all over the map. I know what we're going to talk about. It's supposed to be all about the Festival of the Arts, but there's so many things we could talk about, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast.
Thank you, Stan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We'll have to get you on again. And check out Disney Diaries. Sorry, Sam's Disney Diaries.
SamsDisneyDiary.com or YouTube. Either way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll put the link in the show notes.
Cool. Thanks, buddy.
Alrighty, Ken, take it away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us your idea for the show, and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. All logos, sounds, and songs that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned solely by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be, the ownership of The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.